Hi children, welcome to the class. Today we will study history chapter 5 when people rebel 1857 and after. So in this chapter we are going to discuss on the factors which led to the revolt of 1857 and what were the aftermath of that revolt. So first one about Nawab lost their power. Today's first topic is Nawab lost their power. Second one, the peasants and sepoys and response to reforms. So Nawab lost their power means we already know the Mughal Empire when in the late 17th century when Mughal Empire declared, the Nawabs become more powerful. There were a lot of local kingdoms and they have their power. What happened when Britishers came to India, East India Company when they came, they established their power slowly by which causes what? The reduce of the power enjoyed by the Nawabs. The respect for the and authority of the Nawab started losing. This is what we are going to study in the first Nawab lost their power. Since the mid 18th century, the Rajas and Nawabs lost their authority and honor. How you know? The British East India Company, they were forced the Nawabs to sign in certain treaties and they don't allow their heirs, like adopted sons were not allowed to be the next kings. They introduced different schemes which caused the royal Nawabs to work under the control of the British East India Company. They established their power over their Nawabs. The company has established their power over Nawabs. The Nawabs were forced to sign different treaties. They have to sign on different agreements which is given by the British East India Company. So first let us go to page number 51. Underline the first sentence, Nawabs lose their power. Since the mid 18th century, Nawabs and Rajas had seen their power erode. They gradually lost their authority and honor. Then there were also military armies and British one resident will stay along with the king's court. So what they are doing, they wanted to see how the administration is done and strategically that was a plan for them to control that kingdom. So the residents had been stationed in many courts, the freedom of the rulers reduced, their armed forces disbanded and the revenues and territories taken away by the stages. So through different planned strategies, what they done, they started taking the revenues and income or territories income. Many ruling families try to negotiate with the company to protect their interests. So aristocratic families, they are ready to sign the agreements whatever Britishers say so that they can protect their interest. This also caused a problem. For example, Rani Lakshmi Bai of Jhansi wanted the company to recognize her adopted son as the heir of the kingdom after the death of her husband Nana Sahib, but the Britishers didn't allow this. They declined her plea. Now next paragraph, Awadh was one of the last territories to be annexed. Governor General Dalhousie declared that the territory was being misgoverned and the British rule was needed to ensure proper administration. So Britishers say that if we rule then only you can have a proper administration. Whatever the way the Nawabs are ruling, this is not good enough. So they made a belief that Britishers has to rule the country. Then the next point was the company even began to plan to bring the Mughal dynasty to an end. So next one is they wanted to end the Mughal dynasty. The name of the Mughal king was removed from the coins. We already studied the coins were minted in the name of rulers or the kings. This was removed from the coins. King would be shifted out of the Red Fort. Next way of doing this was a strategic plan that from Red Fort is the area from which the king rules. So Britishers say that the king has to go and stay in another place and the British East India Company's officials will be sitting in the Red Fort. This means what? The country is going to be governed by the British administration instead of the king. So that was a message given to the people that No more Nawabs, the power of the Nawabs or the king has been removed. So this way they removed asked the king to be shifted out of Red Fort. Governor General Canning declared that Bahadur Shah Zafar would be the last king, and whoever his descendants will be declared only as prince and not as king. So in page number 52 you have to underline third paragraph. The company had even planned to bring the Mughal dynasty to an end. The name of the Mughal king was removed from the coin. Then Governor General Dalhousie announced that after the death of Bahadur Shah Zafar, the family of the king should be shifted from Red Fort. So Bahadur Shah Zafar will be the last king. It was declared by Lord Canning that he will be the last king, and after his death the family has to move out of Red Fort. That means the officials, this is not that they loved the Red Fort so much, they wanted to show the people that the power or the authority of the king has declined. Now it is done by whom? The British officials. So they are going to rule the country. This was a message passed to people. So last line, Governor General Canning decided that Bahadur Shah Zafar would be the last Mughal king, and after his death none of his descendants would be recognized as kings. They would just be called as princes. So all these points you have to mark under Nawabs lost their power. Next one is the peasants and sepoys. Peasants means the farmers and the sepoys. Now the problem with peasants were they were not able to pay peasants and zamindars. They were unhappy with the high taxes that were supposed to give it to the governors. Okay, many failed to pay back their loans to the money lenders and gradually lost the lands they had tilled for generations. They were not able to pay the taxes and many lost their lands. The Indian sepoys also were unhappy. There were several causes for that. First one is the money paid to them as salaries were not good enough. Then allowances and the conditions of service. So we are unhappy with the Indian sepoys means soldiers. They were unhappy about their pay, allowances and conditions of service. So they were unhappy with the money or salary paid to them, the allowances given to them and the services. Conditions of service means the terms written for the service. So some areas it is written that they will go out of the country. Overseas they have to go and work. So they were unhappy with that. One more main cause was some of the rules implemented by the Britishers were against their religious beliefs, religious sentiments. So this was another cause for the peasants and sepoys unhappiness. So children, underline page number 52, the peasants and sepoys. In the countryside, peasants and zamindars resented the high taxes and rigid methods of revenue collection. Many failed to pay back their loans to the money lenders and gradually lost the lands they had tilled for generations. Underline. Then the next paragraph, the Indian sepoys were unhappy about their pay, allowances and conditions of service. Along with that, you can mark in the last line, the same paragraph last line, the company had to agree to serve that the employment agreement, a law was there that companies army had to agree to serve overseas if required. That means they are go out of the country to serve the Britishers. Then another one, some of the new rules violated the religious sensibilities and beliefs of the soldiers. Underline that point also. Then you can underline the soldiers were severely punished, and since the issue did not die down, in 1856 the company passed a new law. That point we have already said, the last line, if the soldiers are supposed to go out of the country and serve as and when required. Now sepoys also reacted to what was happening in the countryside. Many of them were peasants and had families living in the villages. So the anger of peasants quickly spread among sepoys. So how these two are related? The soldiers' family are mostly living in the countryside. So there also they are facing trouble. Along with the army or the soldiers, the sepoys. So together they fought back against the British. Now response to reforms. How the people responded to these reforms? The British believed that Indian society had to be reformed. So first when they came to India, they say that the India is under great superstition. The beliefs of people, they are not civilized people. That was the thinking of Britishers. So they wanted India to be reformed, changed. Laws were passed to stop the practice of sati and to encourage the remarriage of widows. Underline those two. Laws were passed to stop the practice of sati and to encourage remarriage of widows. English language education was actively promoted. Underline. After 1830, the company allowed Christian missionaries to function freely in its domain and even own land and property. Underline that also. In 1850, a new law was passed to make conversion to Christianity easier. This law allowed an Indian who had converted to Christianity to inherit the property of his ancestors. So through the conversion, if you become a Christian, then what is the law allowing? You can inherit the property of the ancestors. Many Indians began to feel that British were destroying the religion, their social customs and the traditional way of life. This causes the Indians believe that they are destroying our traditional values and their customs and religious beliefs. There were of course other Indians who wanted to change existing social practice, that is about the response to reforms. So response to reforms, you have to mark laws were stopped, passed to stop the practice of sati, which was always good, and to encourage remarriage of widows. These two you have to underline. English language education was promoted. Then the company allowed Christian missionaries to work or actively function freely in its domain and even own the land. This is all about the first video. Please go through the textbook carefully. Thank you so much.